A 9-year-old little girl is out of surgery and recovering tonight after she was thrown from a car that she was told to drive. That's according to her mom. Coming up, we speak with her and why she says this should have been avoided.
This is the last place the San Antonio man was seen before he disappeared. How his family needs your help.
Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
And we thank you for joining us tonight. I am Ernie Zuniga.
And I'm Stefania Jimenez. Tonight, a 9-year-old girl recovering in the hospital, and you're going to be really surprised when you find out why she's there.
Yeah, so her mother says that an adult told a little girl to drive a car, and so she did that and then got into a nasty wreck. Our John Paul Barajas met with the girl's mother outside of the hospital.
What started as Christmas decorating ended with cries for help. A 9-year-old little girl left bruised, bloodied, and scarred after she was thrown from a car that she was driving.
She had no right to hand a minor keys. She had no right to put that car in reverse.
The woman you just heard from is the girl's mother. She wants to keep her identity private. The incident happened Sunday at the family's home in the Alamo Ranch area. Mom tells us she and her daughter were decorating the outside of their home for the holidays with family friend LaDeja Pickett, adding LaDeja told the little girl to move her car.
Multiple times told LaDeja no, that my daughter didn't know how to drive, that she didn't know what she was doing, and she proceeded and said she was going to learn.
That's when the mom says things escalated.
And that's when LaDeja proceeded to put the car in reverse. And instead of my daughter having her foot on the brake, she had her foot on the gas pedal. And from the impact of the sidewalk, it spun twice in the road, and it impacted the sidewalk once again. From that impact of the sidewalk, was ejected out of the vehicle.
The vehicle stopped after crashing into a neighbor's truck. The little girl was then rushed to University Health Hospital, where she's still recovering.
My daughter has been here since Sunday and has had 3 surgical procedures.
And the estimated recovery time is at least 3 months.
At least 3 months.
Walking, is that?
Right now will be wheelchair.
The 9-year-old suffered major lacerations across her body, which is why we're blurring these images. Mom is hopeful her daughter will walk again, but she's worried about a potential infection.
You could actually see the bone on the knee joint.
As for LaDeja Pickett, she was arrested by the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. She faces child injury and endangerment charges. Is there anything you say to LaDeja right now?
She should have listened to me. She should have respected the fact that that was my daughter. She mentally, physically, emotionally damaged my daughter.
John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
We just hope that little girl is okay.
Indeed.
In other news tonight, the fallout continues one day after 3 former San Antonio police officers were found not guilty in the 2023 shooting death of Melissa Perez.
So now both the police union and one of the defense attorneys are speaking out. The San Antonio Police Officers Association says the decision to prosecute the 3 former officers, Nathaniel Villalobos, Alfred Flores, and Eleazar Alejandro, was political. Union President Danny Diaz says the verdict highlights fear among officers who feel unsupported while doing their jobs. Defense attorney Nico LaHood also criticized police leadership and the district attorney's office, calling the case a mistake from the start. Moving forward, LaHood says the 3 former officers will seek answers and possible legal action.
And there was a lot of things done wrong that I'm not at the liberty to say right now. But we intend to do our best to hold people accountable based off of what the law gives us.
We want to speak with more people about this case. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus was not available for an interview, and the DA's office was closed today because of the Veterans Day holiday. In a separate case tonight, a San Antonio police officer facing 3 felony counts for injury to a child.
So SAPD says Officer Jacob Ryan turned himself into the Bexar County Sheriff's Office today after a warrant was issued for off-duty incidents that allegedly happened back in 2024. So according to the court records that we obtained, Ryan is accused of hitting the same juvenile 3 different times in 2024. Bexar County jail records indicate Ryan was released from custody just before 4:30 this afternoon. And according to a KSAT Investigates analysis, Ryan is the 8th SAPD officer arrested in 2025 and the 2nd officer arrested just in November. He has been placed on administrative leave.
Which is protocol.
Yes. Okay, moving on now. A Runge ISD employee is out of jail tonight after being accused of having an improper relationship with a student.
So let's go back here. The Karnes County Sheriff's Office says that Andrea Melba Rodriguez was taken into custody Monday and charged with tampering with evidence. And according to investigators, Rodriguez confessed to having a relationship with a student at one of the middle schools. They also say that Rodriguez destroyed evidence and also could face additional charges. We reached out to Runge ISD to see if Rodriguez is still employed with the district, but we haven't yet heard back. Tonight, a Bexar County family pleading for help finding their brother.
Yeah, 43-year-old Gerald Bonner was last seen 1 week ago in the 200 block of Florida Street near downtown. You see right there. And today, a clear alert was activated across the state of Texas to find him.
The night team's Avery Everett joins us now live. So, Avery, these clear alerts, they don't happen every day. What do we know about this case?
Well, a clear alert is issued when a missing adult is believed to be in danger. That's why Gerald Bonner's family is just so worried tonight. New signs flashed bright Tuesday night. A clear alert was issued in Texas, and the man missing is from San Antonio.
He didn't come back on the 7th like he was supposed to, and he hasn't been answering his phone.
43-year-old Gerald Bonner was seen last Tuesday. His family says he was headed on a camping trip, and no one's heard from him since. That's why the San Antonio Police Department issued this alert.
We just want to know if he's okay.
Before he disappeared, Gerald's family says he had been struggling with his mental health.
He did have suicidal tendencies.
They say last week Gerald told his friends he wanted to get away. He left a note for his neighbors near Florida Street that he was headed on a trip. His family says he booked 3 different campground reservations several hours away.
He liked camping. He liked going out hiking and stuff like that.
So him making camp reservations was not abnormal?
No, ma'am.
But his family says he never showed up to any of them. He was supposed to return home on November 7th. And on the 8th, when he still wasn't back, his family says neighbors called SAPD. 3 days later, the department issued this alert. Does that give you some hope that more attention is going to be brought to his case?
That does bring me a lot of hope.
We know Gerald is just more than 6 feet tall. He has brown eyes and a buzz cut. He also has a spider tattoo on his stomach and tattoos on his arms. He was driving a 2023 white Hyundai. Now, 1 week since he was last seen, his family is desperate for answers.
Please call me, Mamacito. At least one time to find out where you are.
Gerald also goes by the name Jerry. His family at this point is holding on to any hope they can. If you have any information or know of anyone who has any information, a number for SAPD should be on your screen right now. You can also get that number on our website. Reporting live, I'm Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
Taking this opportunity to remind you that if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health or suicidal thoughts, please know there's help. You can reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by calling or texting 988. You can also use the chat box at 988lifeline.org. You can also text MHA to 741-741 to reach the crisis text line.
Okay, a little chilly out there. We saw Avery with a little extra layer on tonight, but she may not need the layer for the rest of the week, Adam.
No, not at all, actually. Tomorrow's going to be a little cool in the morning, but we're on the upswing temperature-wise. More than anything tonight, we have the aurora. Northern Lights,
wow.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Check this out. Now, keep in mind, it's best seen through your camera phone. So look at it through, because the sensitive technology in those phones detect it much better than the naked eye. This is in Bandera, and a lot of the pictures coming in are from the hill country. But even look at this, near the TPC Marriott, far north side. Then, of course, Bandera,
Wow.
Floresville even getting a glimpse, Medina. Lake Hills.
This is pretty rare, right?
Yeah, we don't see this very often. So the solar cycles go in 11-year cycles. We're at the peak of this 11-year solar cycle. And so that's why we've been getting these strong geomagnetic storms since all the way back to last May. Remember that, when we had one of our first of recent history? And that's when we really discovered that, wow, our camera phones really view them much better than the naked eye. So look off to the north. I'm going to have some viewing tips coming up in a few minutes, and of course talk about the warming trend, but I'm just so distracted by this. I did go on our roof here downtown. Too much light pollution, couldn't see it even through the camera phone, but I do have a pretty old phone. Maybe that's the case. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Yeah, thank you. Today, KSAT heard directly from Camp Mystic after the families of the young girls who died in the July 4th floods filed a lawsuit. This is one of at least 4 suits that have so far been filed against that camp.
So in this particular suit, families of 5 campers and 2 counselors allege gross negligence and reckless disregard for safety. So today, Camp Mystic responded, saying, quote, "We continue to pray for the grieving families and ask for God's healing and comfort," end quote.
The camp's legal counsel sending us a separate statement saying, quote, "We intend to demonstrate and prove that this sudden surge of floodwaters far exceeded any previous flood in the area by several magnitudes, that it was unexpected, and that no adequate warning systems existed in that area. We disagree with several accusations and misinformation in the legal filings regarding the actions of Camp Mystic and Dick Eastland, who lost his life as well. We will thoroughly respond to these accusations in due course," end quote.
Now, the first lawsuit was filed by parents of the Heavens 27. It claims the camp housed girls in flood-prone cabins and failed to follow state evacuation rules, calling the deaths an entirely preventable tragedy.
Hours later, another suit was filed by the family of Eloise Peck, an 8-year-old camper who also died. Both of the suits seek more than $1 million in damages. Camp attorneys say that staff did their best during the unprecedented disaster. Camp Mystic is planning to reopen next summer with new safety protocols.
All right, paying tribute to those who have served and sacrificed. This morning, dozens of people gathered at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery for a Veterans Day ceremony. So it included a presentation of the flag, moments of reflection, and the playing of taps. Veterans from all branches and their families filled the rows of the amphitheater. Several elected leaders also spoke during that program.
A group of veterans also enjoyed the holiday playing golf. The Professional Golfers Association, or PGA, has a program that teaches veterans how to play golf as a form of therapy. It's free to join. You don't need any experience to play.
What was I waiting for? So many years where basically in my isolation, I could have met so many other people, or I could have helped so many other people in all those years. It's time lost.
But you're doing it now, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a veteran interested in joining, you can find that information on our website, ksat.com. Go out there, have fun. Coming up after the break, over a dozen cases of rabies have been documented in Bexar County. Still ahead, how you can keep yourself and your furry friends safe.
Now we're back now on the Nightbeat. An airman says she was pulled over and then held by gunpoint. Joy Hebron says that she was heading to work at Lackland Air Force Base back in July of 2024. And records show officers first took notice of her truck on the northwest side. They actually stopped her near Loop 410 and Babcock. According to a lawsuit, that's when Hebron was ordered to get out.
An officer never came to my window. I was given demands. It was still dark outside. I was given demands to get out of my truck with my hands up, open up my truck with a particular hand, have my back towards him, keep my hands up. And once I stepped out of my truck, I realized that I was being held at gunpoint by 3 officers, and I didn't know why.
Now, Hebron is now suing the city of San Antonio, accusing the officers of racially profiling her. So tomorrow night on the Nightbeat, we'll tell you why San Antonio police say that stop was a mistake. All right, treatment for rabies is painful and very expensive, but if left untreated, it can also be deadly.
You know that there have been 19 confirmed cases of rabies in Bexar County, and while most of those cases have been in bats, 3 rabid foxes have been found on the north side to have rabies. Last week, the Bexar County Health Department confirming that another fox with rabies was captured on Invitation Oak and the TPC Parkway in Bulverde Road area, making 3 rabid foxes within a 10-mile radius. County leaders are now telling people who live in rural areas or who live close to green spaces to be extra vigilant whenever they leave their pets outside, because as we all know, wildlife also becomes more active as the temperatures drop.
Your pets, if you let them outside, just kind of don't let them roam, because they might get into a fight with an infected animal, and that could be an exposure as well. So just keep an eye on them, get them vaccinated. You know, for everyone's safety is the best.
So here's the deal. If you or your pet come into contact with an animal that you think may have rabies, just seek help immediately. Don't sit on it.
Yeah, I've heard how painful those shots can be and everything.
I've heard the same thing.
Yikes. Okay, well, no pain outside tonight here. A little chilly out there, and a lot of people, maybe more than normal, Adam, looking up to the skies this evening.
Oh, a lot of people looking off to the north, and that's because we have the Aurora Borealis, the northern lights, visible again in parts of South Texas. Again, I was on our roof. I couldn't see anything even through my phone. It's best viewed through the phone because of the sensitive technology in our camera phones. I see it better than the naked eye, but on KSAT Connect, we have many beautiful, beautiful shots. Look at this one right here in particular from Lake Hills. See that nice red glow off in the distance? Even Shelby picked one up here. She's near Alamo Heights and just had a little faint glare. Hondo, a nice shot. And again, you could faintly see it in some parts of our area, especially the hill country with the naked eye, but it's best viewed through your camera phone. And for viewing tips basically tonight, get away from lights. Get as far away from any lights as you can, even street lights, headlights, whatever it may be. The farther away from lights you can get, the better off you'll be. Also, let your eyes adjust to the darkness. If you get away from lights, give your eyes 10 to 15 minutes to adjust. And also look north through the camera phone for best viewing, if you can even see it. Not everybody's going to see it because the visibility also changes continuously, kind of like rainfall. You know, sometimes it's light rain, then heavy rain, and then light rain again. Kind of the same thing with the geomagnetic storm. So yesterday, a little more than 24 hours ago, we had a big coronal mass ejection, actually multiple coronal mass ejections, basically a big sunburp, if you will. And notice how it went out in every direction from the sun. So that definitely threw it toward Earth. And so far, it's a level 4 out of 5 geomagnetic storm. And we can see them as far south as South Texas, especially through the camera phone technology. Now, here's what happened. Just over the past couple of hours, we had this huge jump in what we call the planetary K index or the KP index, basically sensors detecting a huge disruption in the Earth's magnetic field. And that's about 8.67 right now. Once it gets up to 9, that would be about a G5. All right, back to weather. Temperatures tomorrow morning right near 50, but notice mornings back in the 60s by Friday all the way into next week. Tomorrow morning near 50 for most of us, some upper 40s and mid 40s in outline areas, but warming up, 76 at noon, 81 the high, a lot of sunshine, right near 80, give or take a couple of degrees. 79 Bernie, but in the low 80s in Floresville. Rain chances not looking as promising. 20% chance as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. We've been watching this system that's been coming out of Alaska. It's now over the Pacific. It's the next system to watch. It's going to pinch off from the main steering flow of the atmosphere, which, as I was talking about last night, it makes them notoriously difficult to predict beyond about 2 or 3 days away. And so it previously looked like we could get some rain-making energy over the weekend. Now that's not going to be the case. That's really going to skirt northward and slow down. Another one right on its heels could give us a little bit of rain and energy by next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just a 20% chance. But because of those two systems, look at all the precip in the western U.S. That's going to be the bullseye. Around here, we just have a slight chance, that 20% chance, as we get into next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Also, increasing humidity. As I said, it's going to feel spring-like soon. You'll notice the humidity by Friday and the weekend, and that means some morning fog Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
But for now, we are winning with the weather and with the Spurs. They beat the Bulls last night. Still want to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, why not? They're winning. They're second best in the West right now. The San Antonio Spurs are on fire, that's for sure. Now, last night, they had to come from behind to beat the Bulls, and as we saw a lot of times last season, the Spurs just could not do that. But they are this year, and Texas A&M football, they're looking for some payback on Saturday coming up.
It was in the New Orleans game. I rolled my ankle in the first half, which that was honestly not too bad. That was pretty fun in a couple of days, but I got kind of my shoulder pulled on and stuff, so just kind of like a little strain there. So that was kind of more the lingering thing that just took some time to sort of, get back and strengthen it for it to calm down. So, yeah.
Luke Cornett scored 16 points last night after sitting out the previous 7 games with ankle and shoulder issues in big board sports. Last night, the Spurs faced their former teammate Trey Jones in Chicago. Trey led the Bulls starters with 20 points, but it was the Spurs who won the game 121-117, pushing their win streak to 3 in a row. Wemby scored 18 of his game-high 38 in the fourth quarter to help the Spurs come back to win. San Antonio led by as many as 12 points in the second quarter, then found themselves down by 9 going into the fourth.
It was in the New Orleans game. I rolled my ankle in the first half, which that was honestly not too bad. That was pretty fine in a couple days, but I had gotten kind of my shoulder pulled on and stuff, so it was just kind of like a little strain there. So that was kind of more the lingering thing that just took some time to sort of, get back and strengthen it for it to calm down. So, yeah.
Luke Cornett scored 16 points last night after sitting out the previous 7 games with ankle and shoulder issues in big board sports. Last night, the Spurs faced their former teammate Trey Jones in Chicago. Trey led the Bulls starters with 20 points, but it was the Spurs who won the game 121-117, pushing their win streak to 3 in a row. Wemby scored 18 of his game-high 38 in the fourth quarter to help the Spurs come back to win. San Antonio led by as many as 12 points in the second quarter, then found themselves down by 9 going into the fourth, and that's when the alien took over.
But yeah, we had to step up on defense. I think
and that's when the alien took over.
But yeah, we had to step up on defense. I think they scored less than 20. They scored 19 in the fourth quarter. And they scored less than 20. They scored 19 in the fourth quarter. And yeah, and then there's on the other side, take care of the ball and just be more solid. And yeah, and then there's on the other side, take care of the ball and just be more solid.
I thought we started off okay, and then we got outside of ourselves a little bit. I thought we started off okay, and then we got outside of ourselves a little bit. And so it was just tough, I think, probably for a lot of guys to try to get in the rhythm because we got caught chasing our tail a little bit, and they did a great job of pushing the pace and getting us on our heels. And then we looked a little, got caught chasing our tail a little bit, and they did a great job of pushing the pace and getting us on our heels. And then we looked a little indecisive on both ends of the floor, but he did a great job finishing and being part of that group that closed it out. Indecisive on both ends of the floor, but he did a great job finishing and being part of that group that closed it out.
Last season, the Spurs often lost games like last night when they gave up a lead late in the game, but this year's team is better, more mature. The Spurs often lost games like last night when they gave up a lead late in the game, but this year's team is better, more mature, and early on showing they can win that way.
Probably more fun too.
Sure, and early on showing they can win that way.
Probably more fun too. To be able to fight back into a game when things really aren't going your way. To be able to fight back into a game when things really aren't going your way, and to be able to solve problems on the fly. I mean, we talked about it going into the fourth, like we want to win this game, we got to start now. So, and to be able to solve problems on the fly. I mean, we talked about it going into the fourth, like we want to win this game, we got to start now. So, I feel like we did a good job of that, and you saw the result, we closed it. So,
the Spurs will next host the goal.
I feel like we did a good job of that, and you saw the result, we closed it. So.
The Spurs will next host the Golden State Warriors tomorrow night at 7. The tip-off a 5-game homestand and 2 straight versus the Dubs. So the Golden State Warriors tomorrow night at 7. The tip-off a 5-game homestand and 2 straight versus the Dubs. So the Warriors, where their star guard Steph Curry missed 3 straight games with an illness, but he made his return tonight at Oklahoma City. The Warriors, where their star guard Steph Curry missed 3 straight games with an illness, but he made his return tonight at Oklahoma City. The Dubs played the Thunder and will face the Spurs twice in 3 days. OKC and SAS sit 1 and the Dubs played the Thunder and will face the Spurs twice in 3 days. OKC and SAS sit 1 and 2 in the Western Conference.
I know it's still November, but it's a big challenge, for our group and the way to address it. And I know that we will. It's we'll take it a game at a time, and we can't overlook anyone. And all I'm thinking is, OKC, they're playing at home. They play really well, defending champs, like you said. So we can't even think about the rest of it. Just have to focus on that first one.
And that first one went to the Thunder, 126-102 tonight. They led the Warriors by as many as 36 points. OKC is an NBA best 11-1. The Dallas Mavericks today fired general manager Nico Harrison. The move is an admission 9 months later that the widely criticized trade of Luka Doncic backfired for the franchise. The decision comes a day after Mavericks governor Patrick Dumont attended a 116-114 loss to Milwaukee, during which fans again chanted, "Fire Nico." It's been a familiar scene since the blockbuster deal that brought Anthony Davis from the Los Angeles Lakers and angered the Dallas fan base. Harrison was in his 4th season and engineered 3 trades that helped Dallas on 2 deep playoff runs. But the ill-fated Doncic deal and a slow start to the first full season with the young superstar Cooper Flagg led to Nico's stunning downfall. Aggies quarterback Marcel Reed talks revenge after the break.